Hello and welcome. This is Japan, and we are about to have WWE Clash at Italy. Interesting card. I mean, at least we have a bunch of title matches. It feels like sometimes, like, especially with like Backlash, we didn't get a ton of like actual title matches that have like more than two brain cells put together of like why are they doing this. So this one does feel a little bit better, and so we're gonna do a little prediction video here on deciding who we think is gonna win and go from there. So we got 5 matches on the card. We start with Obafemi versus Brock Lesnar, a WrestleMania rematch. Honestly, I do think this is probably going to be like a 3-part series. I guess it's two different ways. Like, if you have Brock retiring at SummerSlam and it should be Oba retiring him, then you kind of have to have Brock win this match so they can have a grudge match. Then I think it's just kind of a no brainer to do that. I feel like, both of them maybe even be part of like the King of the Ring tournament and then have the other one take the other one out, vice versa. So they like, hey, we're not done with this, and then have the match at SummerSlam anyways. So I think Brock Lesnar wins here. I don't necessarily feel like it's the best choice, but unless you're gonna have somebody else, get rid of Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam, there's no point not to continue this rivalry and have Obafemi do it. So I think that's the only way that it happens. So let's go with Brock Lesnar here winning. Then we go into our 4 title matches. We'll start off with the Intercontinental title for the women. Becky Lynch versus Sol Ruka. As long as Sol Ruka is healthy and all of those reports of her not being 100% are true, Sol should win here. They had the couple-minute match at Saturday main event, and I feel like this was the whole point of having Becky get the title back and like hold on to it so whenever she did drop it to somebody, it should make them jettisoned as a star, and this would be the perfect person to put the belt on. I don't see any other reason to, have another match because the first one was a DQ and, they've had some back and forth and stuff. Do not hold this on to SummerSlam. This should be Sol winning here and being able to start herself as a champion here. There's really no point of having Becky Lynch win this and have it because the thing is, Becky should be already maybe even pointed towards Liv Morgan, towards the main event scene. They really need her there over having, this, just have her win. There's really no point of having her win here. So I'll go with Soul. I feel like it should be a lock pick, but also like just the most common sense of all of it. But this is WWE, and I can see them trying to hold this on to another event. It makes no sense because Soul would not have any right to challenge her again. But I guess we'll see how that goes. Then we have Roman Reigns versus Jacob Fatu. I'm just going on the match order that they have on this fan. I think that's maybe even the ultimate match or starting match. But I think there's 2 things that I've seen on this that make it maybe a little bit less crazy. It sounds like there's big rumblings that Jacob Fatu is legitimately hurt. Um, so hopefully not. Hopefully that won't be in effect. So I don't see him winning for that reason in particular. I don't think he wins either way here with Roman because the person has to, submit and bow down to the other person. I don't really feel like that's a Roman thing. I think it just makes Jacob get into whatever bloodline thing here, but unless everybody turns on Roman like the Usos and or something like that, I feel like there's gonna be a lot of people doing a lot of stuff because Roman's probably not gonna win here clean because it's tribal combat. But I feel like they really could have a perfect chance of doing something crazy here by having Jacob win it, but I just don't see the way that they've been booking it that they're going to pull the belt off Roman that soon, unless he really is just ready to go off and relax over the summer because he doesn't have any dates for his shows after this. So it would be very shocking, but it would have to be like the Usos turning on him or like Zillafot 2, debuting something crazy that gives Jacob the upper hand that we did see coming. Then we had Rhea Ripley versus Jade Cargill. This should be the 100% lock pick for me. It's Rhea Ripley retaining. I mean, they obviously are just rehashing this from WrestleMania because it's the only other match on the women's side of things that makes sense. It should be Rhea Ripley versus Julia. That should be the match. There's no reason it should be Jade Cargill. It should have been Julia winning. They could have had the whole storyline that Julia versus Jade Cargill for the #1 contendership on SmackDown. Then obviously like Charlotte and Alexa go down there and do something to, mess with Jade's group that somehow cost Jade the match, and then has Julia slide in there and win the match. I mean, they could have done something like that, putting her in her front of her home country, or like where, at least, what, she's half Italian, so it just would be the smartest idea. Not to mention, it would have been the greatest match. I don't see this being much of anything. I really don't see anything crazy happening. If they did, I honestly would just be done with the women's division at this point because it's just pointless. I mean, if you're gonna put the belt on Rhea Ripley, then you need to have her lose to somebody who's equally on the same ground as her. And I love Jade Cargill, but she's just not been that way at WWE. I mean, having this title run that she just previously had, you can see exactly all the shortcomings that they've had for her, and I just don't see even much of a point of having this match because it just doesn't even make sense that like she would be the next one in line, even though she already got a rematch and already had this match, or like, not a rematch, but like already faced her just because she got her at Saturday main event. I don't even feel like that's a canon event for half the time that's in there. Then we get to the main event. What's on the screen? Cody Rhodes versus Gunther. This could be a crazy move. They could easily go Gunther here and do something. They could have Randy Orton return, do something to Cody to cost him the title, and then have something later on with it. I feel like that would be the best bet if you really want to just add more to SummerSlam, because you could have Cody versus Randy at SummerSlam with no title involved, and then have Gunther defend the title against somebody else. Easily could be something. I could definitely see if they have like, if they want to go with Brock Lesnar versus, Gunther at SummerSlam to have him retire. It could be title versus career. Like I could see them doing something here. I don't particularly like it in particular, like at all. I mean, I do like Cody overall. I'm not a huge Gunther fan. I feel like he's like a necessary evil type guy. Like he's always going to be that main event ready person. I just don't feel like that's the case here. That they should make the change just that quick. But again, this is WWE. I could see them definitely doing it. I think I'm just gonna hedge my bet. I really do think I'm gonna just go with Gunther here. I really don't want it to be the case, but there's just a part of me that believes, yeah, this is Gunther winning it. Overall, I think the card looks pretty solid. I don't think it's going to be anything to write home about overall. Like, Saturday main event was, kind of a fresh air. It was a lot better. This one, I'm a little concerned that, like, there's not a lot going on with the actual rivalries in here. But when you think about it, there was nothing else that they could have put on this card that really warranted, a main event thing. You could have possibly had the Vision, the whole Vision versus, Seth Rollins and the Street Profits, which wouldn't have really, mattered because, Montez Ford, not Montez, Logan Paul's out because of their other match. There's just like, that was maybe the other storyline. Like I said, Julia should have definitely been on this card. I really don't think anything crazy happens here other than maybe Randy coming back. I don't see like anybody else, kind of coming back and being that person that does this. So I think overall, I think it's a pretty cut and dry PLE. It's just one of those like it's going to be solid, but it could definitely see some title changes. I definitely think 2 out of the 5 should change, or like will change. Honestly, me personally, other than the Intercontinental title, I would keep everything else the same, and I would keep Oba winning, even though that would completely kill that rivalry. But that's just me personally, as a fantasy booker, would do that. So tell me what you guys think. Tell me if you guys are excited. Yeah, bye guys.